Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yesterday we have looked at, make this a little louder please. Yesterday, it's not on. Oh, that's why. Details. Yesterday we saw a few things about the nature of self-ignorance, how it manifests in life, in the everyday. We also saw how the self-knowledge is the only corrective, because the question is not of action. There is a connection between action and knowledge. And what is the connection? No connection. That is the only connection. Or there is no connection. The problem is a cognitive problem. It's a problem where one doesn't understand. One is separated from oneself precisely because of the non-understanding. And so the antidote to non-understanding is what? Understanding in the correct way, properly. And to understand this, several lifetimes go. Because one is at heart a doer, not a beer. First portion of the Veda, doing. Second portion of the Veda, being. This is what we saw yesterday. And so from doing to being is like a big leap. Hanumanji, it is said, from Rameshwaram to Jaffna, the closest point between the two. Jaffna is a city in Sri Lanka. And so he jumped, leaped. And it was a leap of faith because he had bhakti, he had shraddha, and he leapt. But it's also very allegorical. That's why we celebrate this leap. We celebrate this leap because it is extremely allegorical, because we also need that same shraddha, that same trust, that same bhakti in order to make the leap from doing to knowing, from doing to being. Being means abiding in oneself as whole, as free, as full of oneself in the nicest possible way. This is what one has to do. And so the repeated exposure to the knowledge wears out the stubborn and angular aspects of one's chronic patterns, one's personality, everything. That's why even a rock being rocked, that's why it's called rock. So, being rocked by Mother Narmada, becomes Shivalinga, Narmadeshwara. There are special divers who go inside the bed of the river. They dive into the depths and they pick out the Shivalinga. And there is an amalgam of 2-3 different kinds of rocks there. And in the beginning, it wasn't like that. But the undercurrents of the river are very swift. And so the angular shape of the rocks is very smooth. And so if a rock can accomplish that, if a rock can become Bhagavan, so to speak, and be worshipped at the altar, What to talk of a human being? Rock is jada, human being chetana, sentient. Jada, inert. What is the opposite of inert? Earth. so, so if the that which is insentient can accomplish this kind of a smoothening, what to talk of something that is sentient, something that has the will to change, the will to be free. What to talk about that? How effortless must it be? How easy it must be. And so even the rocks in the ocean, there will be sometimes rocks, and then after a while they have all become smooth. This is the human destiny. It's not that you get rid of the personality, but you override the personality to discover the person, and the person is Purusha. Sarvan Purayati iti Purusha. That which completes everything, that which is everything. And that Purusha is Bhagavan. This is the equation. This is the Mahavakya for which a vritti is needed. Vritti as in exposition. And there is a subtle pun. Vritti as in Brahmakara vritti. Akhandakara vritya jnayate. That which is known by this mental framework, which is transmitted from the teacher to the student. And that is also called vritti. So how the knowledge takes place? Through a kind of a change in the mindset, so to speak. What is a mindset? A mind that is set in its ways. And that undergoes a change to understand its fallacies, its follies. And it understands its follies through looking, through being, repeatedly guided towards its own errors and correcting those mistakes. It's a silent thing. It's a silent revolution. A revolution in the heart. It is not something to be. It is not something to advertise, really. Just like you don't call the press when you take out the garbage. Come, look at all the things I'm getting rid of. In fact, most of the time it's dead in the night when all the neighbors are asleep. You quietly go and deposit it. In fact, you yourself are ashamed. Oh my God, how come I alone have generated so much? What is wrong with me? This is not the time to call the media and say, look, how much I'm giving up. I gave up all the vegetable peels. That's easy because you didn't find them appealing. Simple. And I gave up this, I gave up that. I gave up all the cartons and the garbage and everything. Look at how many things I'm giving up. You don't do that. This is something you need to do because you can't stand to have it in the house. It will smell. Simple. Simple. Similarly, the notions that are wrong, once you know they are wrong, you can't have them in the inner house either. Inner house is called antahkarana, Sanskrit term. Karana, the means. Antaha, which is inner. The inner means, the mind, all these things are called chittam, the emotive faculty. Manaha, mind. Chittam, what else is there? Part of antahkarana. Ahankara. Yeah, buddhi. No, let's not forget the buddhi. Everything we can forget, but let's not forget the buddhi. Buddhi means the intellect. Mano buddhi ahankara chittani na aham. This is how the Shivoham, chant goes. Mano buddhi ahankara chittani na aham. That is the garbage. It's being taken out. That is the mistaken notion. And that notion, it doesn't take long for it to become an ocean. Yeah. And the notion becomes ocean. Samsara is here to stay. This is the problem. And so it is taken out without any fanfare. And the same story is told in the ancient times slightly differently. A junior Swami went to a senior Swami and said, I have given up my bank account. I have given up my life. I have given up my wife. I have given up my children. I have given up my job. I have given up my relatives. I have given up my friends. And the senior Swami, what did he say? All right, all right. When are you going to give up the giver upper? That giver upper is the problem. The one who feels I have given up. That is the one that needs to be given up. Yena tyajasi, by which you have given up. Tat tyaja, renounce that by which you have given up everything. This is what is talked about. And so just as one doesn't call the media to advertise that one is doing what is one is needing to be done, namely take out the garbage. In the same manner, one doesn't advertise the carrying of these notions and the angular personality becoming nice and comely, and one becoming transformed into Shiva, the most auspicious one. Nothing to advertise. It's a quiet thing. It gives a lot of self-satisfaction, and the self and leads us to the self that is already satisfied. And so there is nothing to talk about, nothing to nothing to uh, nothing to really make a big deal about, because when this happens, it's always because there is a synergy of numerous factors. As I told you yesterday, this is a knowledge without an author, an authorless knowledge, a knowing without a knower. And so in this authorless knowledge, in this knowing, there is no question here that it is not an accomplishment of oneself, because the self is already accomplished. What have you done? What have you done? Oh, I have accomplished that which is already accomplished. Just listen to yourself. Then you will see that this doesn't make any sense at all. Atma is swatah siddha, self-accomplished. And to say Atma means I have accomplished myself. Makes no sense whatsoever. And so in this kind of a knowing, there is an automatic acknowledgement of numerous factors that are in play, because of which the knowing has happened. So one celebrates all of that. What are some of the factors? You have a body, you have a mind, you have senses, because of which you were able to hone into this problem, because of which you didn't go mad and you went to the correct way of finding out a solution for this problem. And so that is to be celebrated. The body, mind, sense complex is to be celebrated. But then who gave this body? Oh, immediately, well, we can say the parents and the grandparents, and all that is to be celebrated. That is why it is said in the Shastra, if one person gains this knowledge, 7 up, 7 down, generations are freed. Oh, but how can they have sudden moksha? This is what it says in the Shastra. Freed. They're as good as freed. And this is what the ancestors are waiting for. Because they didn't gain the knowledge, they got a lot of punya. They're sitting in Pitriloka, watching you. So, what is that? This is guilt tricking from beyond the grave. So, they're watching you. What is this fellow doing? What is this person doing? Because I wasn't able to do this. I was a fool. And I just amassed a lot of punya and just died away. And I'm enjoying the punya till the end of the kalpa, perhaps. Who knows? I'm enjoying the punya in Pitriloka. Anybody connected to you? And then they get very excited. When they clap when you attend a Vedanta class. Ooh, don't drop out, stay. For my sake. Stay. Don't go. Don't drop out. They're rooting for you. They're very happy. And then finally, when you make it, they feel redeemed because they are connected to you. And they have this redemption. And same thing that comes for 7 generations later also. Meaning, the sway of this knowledge is so powerful. This is, the 7 up, 7 down is time-wise. Even space-wise, they say in the Buddhist tradition that when the Buddha was, wherever the Buddha meditated or just simply sat, for 100-mile radius, nothing was wrong with anybody. And any animal, anything, the ecology was fine, the animals were fine, the human beings were fine in that radius. It's very fascinating to hear all this. So even though one doesn't make a big deal, it is a very big deal. Even though one is told not to make a big deal because of the ramifications. So because of the Pitris, the ancestors, one is immediately here. Ancestors include the parents as well. One is immediately here. And then why are the ancestors here? Why were the ancestors here? And their ancestors before them? Why were all these people, including they have established one of the first human beings that walked on the earth? They said, let us call her Lucy, including Lucy in Africa, somewhere. Years and years, eons ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. And then we say, let's say if you identify, they have identified 5 matriarchs based on the skeletal remains. And so based on that, who are the mothers of these matriarchs? Somewhere we have to say Bhagavan. Because the answer monkey doesn't sound very nice, because the monkey also has Mata. Monkey also has Pita. And so you have to say somewhere Bhagavan is the cause of this body. So there is Bhagavad Anugraha. There is grace, great grace of Bhagavan operating over time. In this boon called Manushyatvam, gaining a human body, which is a complicated body, which is a body, first it cries, and then it finds out, why am I crying? And then goes to the knowledge. Kind of a very circuitous route. But that's how it is. It's a blessing. And this is Bhagavad Anugraha. This is the first kind of grace that operates over time. And then next, we say that the knowledge cannot be achieved. The knowledge means what? Mahavakya, the knowledge of the Mahavakya. Mahavakya means you are, the message simply is you are one with the cause of the universe. How and all? We have 53 verses. I'm not going to worry about that right now. It will explain itself. So that is what Tattvamasi means. That is what Aham Brahmasmi means. That is what in the Kathopanishad Etat Vaitat means. Etat means this. All this that you see, that you can objectify. Vai, Indeed, Tat means the cause of the universe. All this here is Bhagavan, including this body, mind, sense complex. I am this Bhagavan. I am non-separate from this Bhagavan. This is the message of the Mahavakya. And so the first grace is that of a human birth and the ability to make that leap of faith from the first portion to the second portion of the Veda, and for which one needs a teacher. That is the second grace, that one has found somebody who can teach. This is something which is very important. One wants the knowledge and one wants to go to a teacher. And then sometimes, the word guru suddenly gives hives, allergy, guru allergy, suddenly, like peanuts or whatever it is. Sometimes on the airplane, these days, they don't have peanuts at all because some people are very, very highly allergic. It can be in the next continent and they are getting hives. Replace peanut with the word guru. Okay. Another kind of nut. That's all it is. So, that's all it is. And so immediately one is covered in rashes. Authority issues. Pain from the past. Difficulties. Again, not of one's own making. Authority issues. Some latent fear. Oh my God, I'll be taken over. Oh my God, I'll be transformed. Oh my God, I'll be colonized. Oh my God, I'll be exploited. I'll be used. I'll be abused. Because all that has happened over and over. It's very difficult to come out of. And so this is why sometimes it is difficult to gain the knowledge, because one will not allow oneself to transform because of the fear of authority figures. All the pains, any kind of a difficulty in the relationship with authority figures makes it difficult to relate to a teacher. But yet, we say somehow, despite all this, grace operates over time. And still, despite the resistance, despite the fears, despite the blocks, despite all these things, the knowledge takes place. Knowledge takes place. This is called Guru Anugraha. Anugraha means grace. This is called Guru's grace. It's not that Bhagavan is dispensing grace and Guru is dispensing grace. No. It is just that the transmission of the knowledge, apparently sensing the desire for the knowledge, is able to cross through certain boundaries in the heart. Walls rather. Boundaries are healthy. Walls in the heart. This is a miracle. Guru's grace. Bhagavan's grace, Guru's grace. And then we say also Shastranugraha, grace of the teachings. Because it's not that the Guru is saying whatever they want. The Guru is not saying whatever they want. Guru is just basically the mouthpiece of the microphone of the Shastra, amplifying the Shastra. That's all the Guru does. And so the Shastra here means that teaching which is in keeping with one's dearest wish to be free, to be transformed, to be whole, all that. And that Shastra one has to embrace. Kathopanishad puts it very, very nicely. Nayam Atma pravachanena labhyaha. This Atma is not gained by pravachana, means listening to discourses. Ayo, why did you call me to Eugene? Why did you say come? If Atma is not gained by listening to discourses, Kevalam only. Na medhaya, not by intellection. Na bahuna shrutena, not by listening to every Swami that is coming online these days. So many Swamis, so little time. And one is Swamied out before one knows it. And so this is this is exactly how it is. Na ayam atma pravachanena labhyah, na medhaya, na bahuna shrutena. It's not gained by any of these things. The I is not gained, the Atma is not gained. Then how is it gained? Yam eva esha vrinute tena labhyah. To the one who attains it is the one who chooses to know. Tasyaisha Atma vivrinute tanum swam. For such a person, the Atma basically shows itself. And so this is Shastranugraha. It's like an intersection of Shastranugraha and Atmanugraha. Shastra blesses because you understand the Shastra is not just words written on a parchment, on a palm leaf manuscript, or on paper, or on a book. The Shastra is a way of seeing that which cannot be objectified. The Shastra, therefore, is a pramana. Just like you have inference, just like you have sight, sound, the means of cognizing sight, sound, etc. Pratyaksha pramanani. Direct perception, it's called. Then inference, one step inference. What is that called? Anumana. And then, more than one step inference, arthabhati. And then you also know something by comparison. This is just like that, but it is not that. It has a few extra features. Zebra is just like a donkey, but with stripes. So if somebody who's never seen a donkey, you see that, so never seen a zebra. You see a zebra and then you say, aha, this must be a zebra. Because you know donkey. Zebra is unknown, but you say it's a donkey with stripes. And in fact, they did this experiment in Palestine Zoo. They painted they were they didn't have money to get zebras. They painted a pair of donkeys, black and white stripes. And then as soon as the paint dried, under unseasonal rains because of climate change, that too in the desert, came. And their plan was outed. Zebrified donkey. And so this is all various kinds of means of knowledge. This is called upama, not upma. Upma means what you have for breakfast. That's not it. Upama. Then we also have something for the cognition of absence. A relative cognition of absence, which answers the question what and where. It has to answer the question, otherwise it's not a pramana properly. It's not anupalabdhi, cognition of absence. So what is this anupalabdhi? Is there a pot in the palm of my hand? The question should be like this. Not, is there an elephant in the palm of my hand? Unless we are talking of a toy elephant or something that is kept on the showcase or something like that. Sandalwood elephant, toy elephant, clay elephant, no. Not a real elephant. Is there a real elephant walking, trumpeting elephant in the palm of my hand? That's a silly question because it will not fit in the palm of my hand. And so something that fits in the palm of my hand. Is there a pot in the palm of my hand? And what will you say? No. Why? Because it is there. It is here. You can say. Or because I see the palm, but I don't see the pot. What do you see? You see the absence of the pot. You cognize the absence, a relative cognition of the absence. It is not that Atma is absent. It's not that everything is ultimately absent. No, we don't subscribe to that. So these are the pramanas. These are the means of knowledge that are available for us at the tips of our grubby paws to operate. But these pramanas, even though they can generate all the PhD theses of the world, all the books, all the cutting edge discoveries, they are useless in discovering the I. They are useless in being the internal Columbus, okay, who just blunders on. They are useless to discover the I. None of them. Why? Because the I cannot be objectified. All these pramanas can just catch a hold of things that can be made into an object, can be sensed through any of the sense organs or indirectly through other means of perception, inference, etc. But here one is at a loss. How are you going to catch that which cannot be caught? It's almost the Atma is saying, catch me if you can. You can't. In fact, it is you who has to be caught by the new Pramana. It doesn't help you catch anything. You have to be caught. You have to be taught. You have to be caught. You have to be tackled. And your wrong notions killed off. You are not the maker and the shaker of this knowledge. You are simply in its orbit to be transformed by this knowledge. For that, there should be a allowing of that resistance to drop to the knowledge and the teacher, the wielder of the pramana. It's a special pramana just for this. And this itself takes many, many lifetimes to understand. People just somehow don't get this. There is some disconnect. It is a special means of knowledge just for this alone. No other reason it is here. And it is just for this knowledge alone. Because when you operate any other means of knowledge, it doesn't work. This is illustrated very well in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna wants to have, give Arjuna darshan, a vision of himself. He doesn't want to give. Arjuna begs. I want to see you. I want to have the cosmic vision, Vishvarupa Darshana. You have said that you are the whole universe and the commander of the universe and the maker of the universe. Show me that. Lord Krishna laughs. It's not possible to see me like this. You need a special pair of glasses. That's how Google glasses got their idea. They took it straight from the Bhagavad Gita. And some kind of 3D glasses he gives to be able to overcome the finitude of the vision. Because the vision is only what? What is it called? 3D, right? 3D. But then there is so many other dimensions that you cannot see. And so he gave a special pair of glasses. Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. Actually a special pair of eyes. To be able to compensate for all that you cannot see, thereby allowing in one special moment to be able to understand the whole as though one is seeing it. And that special pair of glasses is nothing but this pramana that we keep talking about. Shabda pramana, it is in the form of words of the Shastra of the Upanishad. And the words are the way to myself. And so the words are reverentially received. And the words don't float by themselves and they don't make themselves up. They are to be studied, they are to be interpreted, and all the wrong interpretations kicked off and the correct interpretations pursued and assimilated and understood. All this is taken care of by giving pramanya, by giving the status of pramana to the shastra, to the teaching. Then only the transformation within the heart can take place. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So, that's why the Vakyavrtti is very important, because all this it's going to talk about. It's going to talk about a student meeting the teacher. It's going to talk about a very nice, delightful set of back and forth. The student asking questions, the teacher responding, but in a very nice way. Like at some point in the beginning, the student says, "You keep saying there is Jiva. Who is this Jiva?" Teacher says, "You." You keep talking about Ishvara. Where is this Ishvara? Right here, it's you. It's just an amazing text for those reasons. And if we have the correct attitude, if we are able to see Vakyavrtti as a pair of glasses that corrects the vision, then we will have a very fruitful pursuit, an extremely fruitful pursuit. And so with these words, let us enter the text. सर्गस्थिति प्रलय हेतुमचिन्त्य शक्तिम् विश्वेश्वरम् विदित विश्वमनन्तमूर्तिम् निर्मुक्त बन्धनम् अपार सुखाम्बुराशिम् श्रीवल्लभम् विमलबोधघनं नमामि। Together. सर्गस्थिति प्रलय हेतुमचिन्त्य शक्तिम् विश्वेश्वरं विदित विश्वमनन्तमूर्तिम् निर्मुक्त बन्धनमपार सुखाम्बुराशिम् श्रीवल्लभं विमलबोधघनं नमामि. This verse number 1 and verse number 2 are what is called Mangalacharanam. A common practice in the tradition to have 1 or 2 verses devoted for prayer. Mangala means auspiciousness. Prayer for an auspicious completion. When you want to write something, you want it to get completed. Okay, it's complete. Why should I pray now? Can I remove the prayer? No, because then you want it to be read. You don't want it just to be completed and sitting on a shelf in somebody's house gathering dust. You want it to be opened, aired out, and read. You want it to be understood. You want it to be enjoyed. You want it to be given to the next generation. And then the next generation enjoys it, and then they assimilate the knowledge and give it to the next generation. Like this, you want it to go on and on. So the prayer is for the tapatraya, nivarana. Nivarana, removal. Removal of different kinds of obstacles. Threefold, generally the obstacles are threefold, they say. Actually, it's only one fold, okay? It's not threefold, one fold. And that one fold is you, really. But then why is it not taught like that? Because they don't want you to fold over and fold in. That's why it is threefold. So that you can watch it from a little distance. Okay, that's not me. That's Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means, Ananda Giri gives a beautiful example. He says, just like a sudden tornado, Adhyatmika. Sudden tornado. If this class were being held in Oklahoma, that's possible. Sudden tornado comes, what to do? You have to leave the class. You have to go, take shelter somewhere. Vakyavrtti, bye bye, at least for now. Later on, we'll see if my house is not blown down, then we'll see. Blown away, literally. And we'll see later. So, like that, may such things not happen. This is called Adhidaivika. Obstacles centered on things that one cannot control. Bhagavan centered. And so then we have, again, Anandagiri will give this example, because in those days they used to have outdoor classes. And one thing I suppose they learned the hard way is never have the class during the big cat lunchtime. Yeah, because if you just come through buffet, big cat buffet, who? The brahmacharis and the teacher. Yeah. So therefore, avoid all that. You never know. Vyagradi, he says, tiger, etc., coming through the class, checking out the classroom. Yeah, what is in here for me? I don't know how to assimilate the knowledge, but I can assimilate the assimilators of the knowledge. And so maybe that is what I need to do. Very holy lunch, sattvic lunch today for me. So this is called Adhi Bhautika, difficulties, obstacles springing from one's own surroundings, Adi Bhautika. Then, of course, if those two are not there, then the knowledge takes place very easily, right? No. Why? I was asleep. I fell asleep. And my snoring woke up the other person also who was sleeping. And that person in turn woke me up. And then I just, the whole Tattvamasi gone. Where? In the wind, somewhere. Perhaps the knowledge of Tattvamasi is being carried in a desert rose that blooms somewhere out of sight. So, if not sleep, sleep is called laya. A baby pralaya is called just simply laya without the pra at the front. So if there is no laya, what else can happen? Vikshepa. Laya and Vikshepa, two kinds of problems within Adhyatmika. Vikshepa means projection. Laya means resolution, withdrawal of everything, including the mind that is supposed to be riding on the knowledge and coattails of knowledge and grasping it. But here, if there is no laya, there is vikshepa. Vikshepa means projections. So the knowledge is gained, but with the help of the same, what is that called? The same infrastructure which has kept one away from the knowledge is being used to glean the knowledge. And so this is the resistance block. This includes all the resistance blocks, questionings, doubts, distrust, everything. So you can't do anything about tiger. Of course, you don't sit outside at a time when it's supposed to come, and they have certain times when they come. That's the idea. Right now, I don't know, because the thing is, we have made a mess of the environment, and they are mad. Everybody, Mother Nature is mad. There is Prakriti Prakopa, because we have really made a mess of that. But generally speaking, they don't, they don't mingle with people that much. And so if we keep away from them, they also respect that and keep away. But still, you cannot do anything about Adi Bhautika. Whether it's tigers or people behaving like wild animals, you cannot do anything. People will behave as they behave, the tiger will behave as it behaves. Then you can't do anything about earthquake, tornado, tsunami. What can you do? Now there is a big prediction. They are saying that first they said the whole of the west coast is going to be dry, dry, dry and desertified. Now they're saying no, no, no. Actually, it will be inundated with water. It will be so much water. You'll be wanting those drought-ridden days. You'll be dreaming of the drought-ridden days when you could not wash your car. You'll be wanting that. This is what This is what they are predicting now. So you can't. This is all Adi Daivika. You can't do anything about it. You have no control over that. And similarly, you have no control over Adhyatmika, considering how the mind rages. Correct? No. In fact, that's the only thing you have some say over. That is why I said it's only one-fold. It is not two-fold, three-fold, all these things. So the Mangalacharana is to remove any last vestiges of blocks for the transmission of the knowledge, not only from the author to the person who's reading it, but from the teacher who is using this text as a tool, as a pedagogical tool to teach this, from the teacher to the students, to the prospective disciples, to the students. May there be no such obstacles from the three sources. Sometimes the prayer is just in one, stanza, verse. Sometimes it's just in one word. Dhritarashtra uvacha, one word. Dhritarashtra said. Dhritarashtra, the blind king, said, who are these people? Mamakaha. What are my people doing? Blinded, deluded king. Blinded by wrong love. Dysfunctional love said, what are my people doing? Batao, batao. Tell me. And what are those people over there doing? Shameless, because they were all his people. No, it's not that Dhritarashtra who's being informed. Dhritam Rashtram Yena, by whom the whole nation is held up, by whom the whole world is held up. That Bhagavan. One word, covert prayer. Vriddhiradaich, Paninian prayer. First sutra is a prayer. Vriddhi is a technical term for the certain elongation or strengthening of vowels. But here, vriddhi means vriddhi syat. May there be vriddhi for this work. Vriddhi means may this work see its completion and be famous and be read. There were 9 forms of grammar. Paninian form is the only one that has survived because of the first sutra, Vriddhiradaich, which is actually a prayer. And so like this, it can be overt or covert. But here it's an overt prayer, a 2-part prayer. The first one is to Bhagavan, because of whose grace this knowledge is. And the second verse is to the Guru, because of whose grace this knowledge has become my own. So this is what is called Mangalacharana. First one we have read. In Sanskrit, we catch hold of the verb. Where is the verb? Very good. Namami. The Sanskrit classes are paying off. I'm telling myself. So, Namami. What does Namami means? I salute, I worship, I bow down. Nam, has got this, the root verb nam has got what is called prahvi bhava. Prahvi bhava means in the sense of bending down. Bending takes place, and that namami means it's accompanied by bending. The literal bending, makes it difficult. When you're bending and bowing down, makes it difficult to have a huge ego. Because the ego wants you to be totally straight, rigid. But here you're supposed to bend down. And that physical bending lends to a mental humility. So that there is absence of hubris. And so that is what is here. Namami. Sashtanga Namaskara is here. And whom Namami, and all the words here are the adjectives to one particular one, Shri Vallabham Namami. All the other ones are adjectival to this Shri Vallabham. All of the others are adjectives. What is Shri? Shri means what? Delicious? No. Shri, auspicious. What else? Wealth. Yeah. Shri, let's not forget. Wealth. Lakshmi. Yes. Lakshmi in all her forms. It's abundance. All around abundance. 8 forms of abundance are recognized. Ashtalakshmi. There is what? Dhanalakshmi. There is abundance in the form of wealth, which everybody loves and recognizes quickly. And Aishwarya Lakshmi, a certain kind of a overpowering, the overlordship. Shakti. Aishwarya Lakshmi. Then Dhairya Lakshmi is an abundance in the form of courage. Dhanya Lakshmi, abundance in food and all this. Santana Lakshmi. Like this, there are Santana Lakshmi means abundance in the form of children. Not children like the Kauravas. No. Those are the scions of Alakshmi. Yeah. Not Lakshmi. So, in the form of children who go to make the lineage a little brighter, those forms, that is all various forms of Lakshmi. Shri. And that Vallabha means the beloved of Shri, the consort of Shri. Who is that? Vishnu, Mahavishnu. Mahavishnum Namami. Who is never without Shri. It's very interesting because when you write Ashtottara, 108 names, or what is that other one? Sahasranama, 1008 names. You always, if you are talking about Vishnu, you talk about Shri. If you're talking about Lakshmi, Vishnu Patnyai cha Dhimahi. So we talk about Vishnu because they are one and the same. From the standpoint of the feminine or from the standpoint of the masculine, we are talking about that force which is equipped with 3 functions, as the first line says, which is Sarga Shakti, which is Sthiti Shakti, which is Pralaya Shakti, which is Achintya. So Sarga means what? Creation. So that which is behind the creation, the Shakti be to create. I mean, think about it. All these things, including one's mad mind, somebody has had to create. All the strange thoughts that come into the mind, because we don't really think the thoughts. Thoughts fall into the mind. Who creates these thoughts? This is in fact how the Kathopanishad starts. Kene shitam patati preshitam manaha. Who is sending these thoughts to my mind? Because of whom are these thoughts there? So this is the Shakti, the ability to create out of nothing else. Bible says he created out of nothing. They are convinced, okay, but formless. Okay. So, but here we don't say that. We have to, God created out of nothing, we have to add a little else to it. Nothing else other than himself, herself. That herself is himself, that himself is herself. This is what it talks about. He, she, we only talk about it from our own problems and our own limitations. It is neither he or nor she.
I don't understand.
That's
Hey
okay.
Siri, we only
That's okay if you don't understand. Yeah. You keep listening, you will understand. So, yeah, that shows there is something happening, of which we are not in charge. So then, so this, how, even to create one thing, what can the jiva create? Like I can create confusion very well. Yes, understood. Put your hand down. That's all you have to say. I can create cacophony. Yes, I can create confusion. I can make matters extremely difficult. Yes. I can make simple things into complex issues. Yes. Agreed, understood, check, check, check. What else will you create? Nothing else. But here, think of one person's karma. Just even one person's karma, mind-boggling. They have to be born somewhere, and their death is destined somewhere else. In the ancient times, even now to a certain extent, people like elderly ladies and all, they go to Kashi, they go to Varanasi, because there is a belief that if you go to Kashi and die in Kashi, you will get moksha. That's not the idea. But the idea is, if you go to Kashi and you're living out your life there, Kashi is the place of Vedanta, okay? Everywhere there are Vedanta ashrams, just like Rishikesh, just like Haridwar. So the idea is, how long can you go to temples and all? You will make this switch from one to the other, and then you will end up in a Vedanta ashram, and then you will drop your body after gaining this knowledge, and then again Videha Mukti will gain moksha. That is the idea. But people take it literally. If I just set foot in Kashi and kick the bucket there, then what will happen? I will get moksha without Vedanta, because that sounds very nice, moksha without Vedanta. Everybody wants that kind of. Why should I sit and go to classes all the time? 1 month course and 10-day course and this, that. Let's take another recourse. Don't want this course. And let's just see if we can get this without knowledge. People don't understand this. So anybody who's elderly, they just go to Kashi. Many old age homes in Kashi. And something else is talking. Okay, so, and lots of people in class today. Yeah, all kinds of devices have started to speak. You go to Kashi to get moksha, and then you just die there. That's the idea. A lot of people, elderly ladies go. And so this lady in our story moved there because she wanted to die in Kashi, and then waited and waited and waited. Lord Yama is always busy elsewhere. But her time is not yet come. And then everybody says, what are you doing there by yourself? Look, you have a great grandson. Come. We will do, what is that? We'll do Abhisheka with gold coins. They make the baby sit in the lap, all the 4 generations, and everything, and then we'll bathe you in gold. Come for this wonderful ceremony. And oh, okay, yeah, that's right, and I have been so healthy and have been so wonderful, and I'll go. And as soon as the function is over, dies in the sleep outside of Kashi. Okay, yeah. So this kind of a karma, who can, Achintya Shakti only can come up with this. Has to be born somewhere, has to die somewhere, and the death is not written in Kashi, but as long as they are in Kashi, the Yama will not even look at them. For Lord Yama to look at them, they have to come back to Tirunelveli or somewhere where they were from before. And then what? Then the moment they set foot there, Yama says, Aja, and come into my net. Not very far. This is where you're supposed to die. This is where you're supposed to be born. And these are the people you will get married to. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Okay, all this is there. It is just there. This is just one person's karma. Think about all the people who intersect with that person. All their karmas have to also very, very seamlessly be interfaced. This is Achintya. Achintya means it's incomprehensible. Achintya Shakti. Think of that Shakti. Think of the power. And to keep this creation, put this creation in motion, that is a lot of work. Lot of work. Yet, Bhagavan does it, as we'll see later on in this very verse, without needing a Tylenol. That is the thing. Yeah. Anybody else, you want to do a fraction of this? Oh, I'm stressed. I have so much stress at work and I need a vacay. And the vacay was very full of stress. Now I need a staycay from the vacay to recover from the vacay. Vacay means vacation. Okay? Staycay means staying at home and behaving like a robber in your own house because you don't want the neighbors to know you are at home. You don't want anybody to know. Thankfully, the pandemic has taken care of it because for 2 years, nobody had visitors. So you had all the staycation that you wanted. So one little thing, and like this Olympic weightlifter, so many pounds he's he's lifting. Then you go put one feather. No. The last straw, that's what it is. You put one straw, you put one feather. Feather by itself is weightless, but after carrying so many pounds, that one is the thing that's going to bring one down. This is not Achintya Shakti. This is very much Chintya Shakti. This is a Shakti that expends itself. But here Bhagavan's Shakti in bringing forth this creation and all that it takes for all life forms. I mean, imagine if the dinosaurs were here now, how frightening it would be. Terrible. I mean, they're just, walking and trampling down houses and everything. We couldn't live like that. That's why they had to go before we came. I don't think we could have coexisted very happily, except in the movies. It's good for sci-fi, Sci-fi movies, many movies have been made about being along with dinosaurs or recreating the dinosaurs, etc. So when should one life form go and another come? This is all called, sarga and then sthiti. Sthiti means keeping it going. Many people are good at startups. They will start it, but then after that you ask them to run it. No. Our company only does startup. We start it up and then we give it to you to babysit. And then some people are babysitters, but they cannot start and they certainly cannot end. And certain people and companies are blessed directly by Lord Rudra himself. Wherever they go, they carry a wrecking ball. And if you want to dissolve something, you call them. Okay, this needs to be wrapped up. Come. Okay, wonderful. But here, all these three Shaktis are in one entity, one conscious entity, the beloved of Shri. In fact, Shri, beloved of Shri, one and the same. consort of Shri. Shri is he is Shri. Okay, yeah. There is no difference between he or Shri. And so this is how we have to look at it. So in that one entity, nameless, formless entity here called Vishnu, there is a pratyaya here. There is a suffix ishnuch, which means, always. Vishnu, V for Vyapti, all pervasive. So that all pervasive one, along with the consort, and this one is everywhere and is the hetu, the cause of what? Srishti, sthiti, and laya. Laya means when will something go? When will all the things go? That is also laya. Laya hetu. And then that itself is achintya shakti, a kind of shakti that is needed to pull off this universe is not comprehensible. One cannot hold it in the mind. How is this even possible? Achintya shakti. Then, so here, the first line is Tatastha Lakshana of Brahman. Tatastha Lakshana means what? Bhagavan in the form of the Lord of the universe, goddess of the universe. That is Tatastha Lakshana, the cause of the universe. Swarupa Lakshana means the intrinsic nature as Satchidananda, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. It is Swarupa Lakshana. So here the first line is Tatastha Lakshana. Sargasthiti Laya Hetuhu Achintya Shakti. Achintya Shaktim Namami. Then after the first line, one could come to one could say, okay, this is the material cause. Upadana karanatvam is there, it's the material cause of the universe. Because the universe is nimitta dvayam, there are two causes. Karanadvayam. One is called upadana karanam and one is called the knowledge behind it. One is in the form of the universe itself, immanent form of Bhagavan as manifest as the universe, which is what is being talked about here. And then the knower of the universe. So lest no one doubt, lest there not be any doubt, that the one that is manifest as the universe does not preclude the knower. So therefore the second line, Vishveshwaram, the one who is the Ishvara, overlord of the whole Vishwa, the whole universe. And then Vidita Vishwam. Viditam Vishwam Yena, by whom the entire universe is completely understood and known. The Nimitta Karana has also walked in. Very nice. So Vishveshwaram, what else? And then Vidita Vishwam. But at the same time, Ananta Murti. All forms are his form, her form. Every form is his form, her form, essentially formless, but all the forms. Okay. Vishwam Ananta Murtim. But at the same time, not needing a Tylenol, which is talked about in line number 3. Nirmukta Bandhanam, free of all bandhanas, no connections, no dysfunctionality, no partiality. Oh, I have to be nicer to them and I shouldn't be nice to this one. And this one was not nice to my relative, so I have to be bad to them. No such thing. No, there is no this one will read the teeka of this. It will say that Anandagiri will say there is no bhara, there is no shouldering of any responsibility or any kind of a burden. There's no burden. Does it very easily. That's why, how do we have a sleeping Vishnu? Shayane sarvam vibharti. Nicely lying down. Shows no stress at all. Unlike a CEO of a company, small, dinky little company, but thinks, it's very big. And then always stressed out, and popping antacids. Not here. Here, no stress. Nirmukta means always free of any kind of bondage, any kind of dysfunctional feelings of responsibility. Nirmukta bandhanam. And then the other one, apara sukha amburasham. Apara means, para means limit, shore, the other shore. Apara, no shore. Amburashi, a heap of water, lot of water. So, shoreless water, like an ocean. An ocean of what? Apara sukha, of limitless sukha. This is the nature of Bhagavan, which is the nature of you. And unto this Sri Vallabham, who is what? Here the Swarupa Lakshana comes. Vimala Bodha Ghanam Namami. Vimala means pure. Bodha, knowledge. Jnana, Satyam Jnanam, that one. So, Bodha here means knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of awareness, consciousness. That Chit Shakti, that knowledge. Bodha Ghanam, nothing but knowledge here. It's not a mass of knowledge, but here nothing other than knowledge. Namami, I worship, I salute. Very beautiful. We'll see it a little more in detail, the last two lines. Tomorrow, what time is the class? No, 9:30, we will have Taittiriya Upanishad, 9:30 to 10:45. Then we will have a 15-minute break. 11 to 12:30, 12:15, 12:30, we'll have this class. Okay? So, all right. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Now we'll have a short puja there in the shrine for Janmashtami. We'll have a short celebration. So please make your way over there.